For the professional creator, the developer, and the tech enthusiast, the original Apple Studio display was a beautiful, yet frustratingly stagnant piece of hardware. It was 5K, yes. It was Apple, certainly, but it was trapped in a 60 Hz world while the rest of the industry, and even Apple's own iPad and iPhone, moved into the fluid, buttery smooth future of promotion. But the wait is finally over, and the rumors surfacing for the Apple Studio Display 2 aren't just minor iterations. They represent a fundamental shift in how Apple views the desktop experience. Welcome back to my channel Tech Rivet for exclusive insights into the future of tech. Subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon for more tech updates. Now, if you've been holding off on a monitor upgrade, your patience is about to be rewarded with something that feels less like a peripheral and more like a powerhouse. The core of the excitement surrounding the Studio Display 2 lies in a massive leap in panel technology. Leaks from the heart of the supply chain suggest that Apple is finally bringing Mini-LED backlighting to the 27-inch form factor. This isn't just about brightness. It's about a contrast ratio that makes the previous model look washed out. We are talking about over 2,000 local dimming zones that allow for deep, inky blacks that rival OLED, while maintaining the searing 1,600 to 2,000 nits of peak HDR brightness that professionals need for color-accurate workflows. Imagine editing 4K HDR footage where the highlights actually pop and the shadows hold true detail. This is the promise of the 2026 refresh. But the real hook for the North American market, where high-performance setups are the standard, is the inclusion of 120Hz ProMotion. If you have ever used a MacBook Pro with ProMotion and then switch back to a standard 60Hz monitor, you know that jarring, laggy feeling. Apple is finally bridging that gap, ensuring that every scroll, every window drag, and every cursor movement feels instantaneous. Beyond the glass, the internal architecture of the Studio Display 2 is seeing a brain transplant. While the original relied on the aging A13 Bionic chip, the new model is rumored to house a dedicated A19 or even an A19 Pro chip. Why does a monitor need that much power? It's not just for the webcam. This silicon will handle complex computational audio processing for a redesigned 6-speaker array that promised 30% deeper bass and wider spatial audio. It also enables Center Stage 2.0, which uses AI to keep you perfectly framed during those high-stakes Zoom calls or FaceTime sessions with even better low-light performance. Furthermore, the connectivity suite is jumping into the next generation. We're looking at dual Thunderbolt 5 ports. This is a massive deal for one-cable setups. Thunderbolt 5 doubles the bandwidth of its predecessor, allowing the Studio Display 2 to act as a massive docking station that can handle 120 gigabits per second data transfers, meaning you can daisy-chain multiple 5K displays or high-speed RAID arrays without ever hitting a bottleneck. For the premium US, UK, and Canadian markets, design is just as important as specs. The rumors point to a slimmer bezel philosophy, borrowing the aesthetic of the current Pro Display XDR, but in the more accessible 27-inch size. There's even talk of a new midnight color option to match the latest MacBook Pro and Mac Studio finishes, making for a stealthy, professional aesthetic that screams luxury. But perhaps the most controversial yet exciting rumor is the price restructuring. Apple is expected to keep the base model at $1,599, but introduce a Studio Display XDR tier that sits at $3,299. This higher tier is where the Mini-LED and ProMotion magic lives, creating a clear hierarchy for those who need the absolute best. As we move closer to the official unveiling, one thing is certain. The Studio Display 2 is designed to be the centerpiece of the modern professional's ecosystem. It's not just a screen. It's the final piece of the puzzle for anyone who demands that their desktop experience matches the power of the Apple silicon inside their Mac. If you're serious about your craft, if you live and breathe high-end tech, this isn't just an upgrade. It's the new gold standard. Stick around as we dive deeper into the manufacturing leaks and the exact release date window that has the tech world on the edge of its seat.